Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience in trying to purchase laying hens or pullets in 2023. If you find you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to go down and click the subscribe button if you want more content like this. Also, let me know in the comments below what it's been like in your experience trying to buy laying hens in 2023 from the hatcheries, or whatever you've tried doing to get your hands on some chickens. So are these egg prices why I'm trying to get into laying hens and backyard chickens in general? The answer to that is definitely not. I'm not under some delusion that I'm going to save money having backyard chickens. Now, the reason that I do want to get into laying hens is because I would really like to be more connected to where my food comes from. I would also just like to teach my boys to work. This is just one small step in that. I'd also like to be a little bit more self-reliant and provide a little bit more of our own food and just live a little bit more of a, I suppose, wholesome lifestyle altogether. And this is all just one small part of that, and my eventual goal to raise most of our own meat and quite a bit of our own fruits and vegetables, whatever we really can in our climate and area. One other thing I want to make sure is very clear before I get into the rest of the video is that I am not a veteran backyard chicken farmer. Probably just like many of you who are watching this video, who this video is really mostly intended for. Alright, so here's really the number one problem that I've experienced and information that I can relay to you in trying to purchase laying hens in 2023, and that is just chicken availability in general, or chicks pullet availability in general. Back in January, late January of this year, we went to Hoover's Hatchery to try and pick up chickens to get all of our laying hens and raise on our own. We made an order of 32 pullets. They were not all for us. We were only personally going to keep 8. Going to distribute some of those other ones to family members. And this is basically just one lump sum that we all purchased together. That order of 32 chicks was canceled literally the day before it was supposed to be shipped. It was supposed to be shipped like the first week of February. The day before they were supposed to ship out, they canceled the order and refunded us our money and said, there are no chicks to send you for the foreseeable future. So we went ahead and decided to just reorder right away to see what we can get. And we ended up getting a new ship date of May. And this is even the end of May. I think we're expecting to see these May 31st. We decided to go ahead and check with 4 other hatcheries when we saw that time frame here in the United States to see if we could not get some chicks here a little bit faster through the mail from a hatchery. The reality was they were all out until May. So we decided to ultimately ourselves just go ahead and stick with Hoover and wait until we can get some chicks. So something you might be asking yourself, why are you waiting clear until May if you have to wait that long to get them from Hoover's? As far as I can tell, every hatchery in the country is booked out at least until then, if not a little bit later. So what are your other options of purchasing? Well, we've made a few calls and talked around to some of our local mom and pop feed stores, as well as some of the big retailer feed stores. So most of them were saying that they were going to see their chicks right around here at the end of February, beginning of March. And I guess that was pretty much it in terms of when you could get chicks locally. So you have your options, like I said, of your mom and pop feed stores or your Tractor Supplies and farm and ranch stores local to your area, chains or not. So they're probably going to start showing up in your stores here pretty soon. In fact, I'll even say this about my local cow ranch. We called them up a few weeks ago. Thought maybe we'd just get started with maybe 3 chicks just to kind of get a start before we get our big batch of 8 chicks in. Start getting a few chicks just because we've got everything already set up and ready to go. And they were basically telling us that you've got to get there the day that they are arriving at their store, and you've got to wait in line for them because they've got a line every single day, and they said they sell out of them the same day that they're shipped in. So people are trying to get these things. So that now brings me to my final 2 options. One is incubating and hatching your own eggs. I don't really know much about that whole process, and I've not even attempted to research it or do anything about it, at least at this time period. So if that's what you're thinking about doing, you'll probably need to go watch another video on that. Now, that brings me to my last option, and that is purchasing from local hatchers. So basically, we posted to one of our local community Facebook pages in this town that we live in, And we asked, hey, is there anybody that's willing to, or not even just willing, but is they're going to be out there selling their chicks, hatching and selling chicks? And somebody said that they were going to have some available in the near future. They said that they were anywhere from $5 to $20, but for most of their laying hens to expect about a $7 or $8 price tag on each of those chicks, which is, I think, well over 3 times, maybe about 3 times what we were paying per chick from Hoover's Hatchery. So, probably a very nice person, probably may even deserve, that money for those chicks, but we just simply weren't willing to purchase them. But that might be an option, looking at people in your local area who are hatching chicks and selling them. So with these chicks that we were anticipating, we started doing a little bit of research on feed costs. And my research, basically I go to my little local mom and pop feed store here in my town, mile up the road basically, and I can go in and purchase a 50-pound bag of chick starter feed it was $20 for a 50-pound bag. It's the High Pro brand. So from what I can tell, a fairly reasonable price compared to Walmart. It's like 40-pound bag of chick starter feed for like $16 or something like that. Or I think Tractor Supply's is even a little bit less fair price than that even. So definitely go check out your mom and pop local feed stores first to purchase your feed. Now, another way that you really might be able to really save some money when it comes to chicken feed, and this is where I'm giving the credit to my younger brother. He went to actually a local, what used to be a dairy, now it's just a family farm. But basically you can go and you can take a 55-gallon drum and fill it up totally full, which will get you, I think, about 300 pounds of feed per barrel for $105, which is crazy because just about 10 years ago when I was a kid feeding pigs this cracked corn, it was like, I don't know, it seems like when I was younger it was like $50 a barrel, then it was up to about 65 when I was going and able to drive myself over there and pick up the barrels of feed myself. I was paying about $65 a barrel for it. So it's gone up very, very much in price, but nonetheless, I don't remember all the math that was done. My brother mostly did the math and kind of sent it to me and told me why we ought to be purchasing our grain from there. Just know that that is just cracked corn. There's no supplements in the feed, no mixtures in the feed. That's just cracked corn feed. But if you can purchase that chicken feed in bulk, that definitely might be something that'd help you out, save a little bit of money. And feed your chicks a little bit cheaper. All right, number 4 on this list of things that I've, kind of figured out, learned a little bit in buying chicks in 2023. A lot of people will talk about the coops being an extremely large expense in getting these chicks started. I've read many, many blog posts and articles and things like that about this topic, and most people will talk about the expense of getting into the chicken coop. I just want to use an example. You really can do these things cheap. If you've got good access to pallets, you can build yourself a pretty good chicken coop for basically free. A few years ago, I built my kids a little playhouse that would have made a very, very good chicken coop for basically under $100. It might have even been under 50. I bought a couple of 2x4s to make the trusses just so I had a good strong roof. And I also had the top plates that I made out of, that I put store-bought 2x4s on. Really nothing else I can think of. So I built this thing for probably less than $50 even. You can put these things together out of pallets for almost free if you're willing to put in the work and the time and the effort and have good access to pallets. You can make them for, like I said, nearly free. Go get a little bit of chicken wire, make yourself a little chicken run, and it won't really be too bad. Now, that being said, you can also spend up to like $10,000 on the Taj Mahal of chicken coops, if you will. So it's really, very, very hard to say, depending on the kind of area that you live in, the kind of climate you have, what you really need for your chickens, what kind of predators you're going to be trying to avoid. All those factors will play into it. I've just got to say that people will say, all kinds of different crazy things about what you can expect to be spending on a chicken coop. You can go out and spend $1,000 on a pre-made one from Tractor Supply. If you've got any ability to put screws into wood, I would not suggest doing that. They sure look nice, but they're not worth $1,000 in the slightest. Like I said, you can still even put them together for free these days if you want to go the pallet wood route. Maybe make yourself something to start with so you can get a little money and build something a little nicer. So that brings me to number 5, and that is just brooding supplies. So basically what we did is we just got a few of those cheap 1-quart feeders and waterers for our brooder. And then you can research all kinds of different floor ideas. You'll have to decide what's best for you. There's, so many different opinions on those things. We just ended up going with a paper towel and drawer liner floor to keep them from slipping and getting, what do they call it? I don't remember what it's called, but basically where they do the splits, and it kind of messes up their legs for life. So, like I said, all kinds of different things. We basically got into all of our brooding supplies. Oh, one other thing, the actual brood itself was a good-sized little tote that we picked up from Home Depot years and years ago that we've emptied after all these years of moving and finally buying a house. You know, you don't really have to spend a whole lot of money there. You need a light, heating lamp, you know, ways to feed them, stuff for their little floor and bedding, and, you know, something to enclose them in. And my wife and I went through it when I was preparing to make this video, and we spent under $60 on all this stuff. So now we've got it forever. Should be able to pretty much never have the brooding supply expense other than, you know, maybe a new drawer liner and paper towel system on the bottom. After they get a little bit older, we're planning to go to sand. So we haven't really seen any shortages in the actual brooding supplies. Like I said, you know, the chickens, very hard to get these days, it seems like. The brooding supplies, they're all out there available and, you know, reasonably priced, I suppose. We bought everything from our local feed store. So as you can see, in 2023, it is a little bit of a crapshoot trying to get chicks and get all prepared and ready for them to go. Mostly just in terms of getting the chicks themselves. There's a huge demand for them with the high prices of eggs. Everybody's wanting to go do their own backyard chickens. That was one of the trending searches on Google I saw recently. There's all the controversy with the chicken feed. There's all the threats of nuclear war and the war in Ukraine and the major inflation and all these issues going on. A lot of people are definitely wanting to get themselves more prepared, be a little bit more self-reliant, things like that, it seems like. And, you know, I'm no different. I've definitely been wanting to do this since probably I was a senior in high school. I've been looking forward to when I could finally start doing this to some degree. It's just all kind of come together more and more as I've grown up. Anyway, guys, like I said, been kind of a crapshoot getting chicks in 2023. Let me know what your experience has been like if you've been trying to get them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.